What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today, we're here to take a look at the new 2021 Hyundai Veloster N. And now I'm saying new, even though this car has been out for a while, because there's been a major change for the 2021 model year. Hyundai listened to what the buyers wanted and made the performance package standard on the Veloster N. This has resulted in a price bump. The car is up about $5,000 now, making this come in at just under $35,000. Now, what is this car? What does it provide? Who is it for? This is for the automotive enthusiast who wants a high performance car but doesn't want to break the bank. So you want a large punch in a small package, which is what this subcompact hot hatch is. That is the category this Veloster N fits under. So it's going after the likes of Ford with their Ford Focus ST, Volkswagen with their GTI, and Honda with their Civic Type R. I love the overall styling of this vehicle. I want to see if it's fun to drive and truly practical to own on a daily basis. So today, let's get into the exterior and interior details of this Hyundai Veloster N and see how this ride has been engineered for excellence. Starting at the front of the Veloster N, what I like most about this vehicle design-wise is that it's not overstyled to make it look like it's going faster than what it's really capable of. The hood features simple lines. It's not too little, it's not too much, it's just enough. Now underneath the hood, you're gonna find a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbo producing 275 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 265 pound-feet of torque at the low engine speed of 1,450 RPM. Now this is connected to a wet dual clutch transmission, an 8-speed dual clutch transmission to be exact. 0 to 60 occurs in the 5-second range. You're looking at about 5.1 to 5.2 seconds. Now this is all connected to an electronic limited slip differential, and I want to make mention that this is a front wheel drive vehicle. Now coming lower, you do have LED headlamps and of course LED daytime running lamps. Now I do want to make mention they do have the incandescent turning signals here. And then coming lower, you do have the large cascading grille. Love how they incorporated the N badge in the grille. Lots of airflow going in here. And then when it comes to the sides, you do have some faux air vents, but you do have some functioning air curtain vents, meaning that air is going to flow into these curtains here, providing a laminar flow over the front wheels at speed. That's pretty nice. I love the design characteristics of this vehicle. When it comes to the side profile of the Veloster N, the overall theme continues, simple lines. So it doesn't have to be too fussy and overcomplicated with lines like the Honda Civic Type R, which is completely overstyled. Just a few lines. There's a line up front here, and then there's a sharp body line that starts here and goes to the back. I really like the overall aesthetics of it. Now, speaking of aesthetics, I love the way these beautiful 19-inch wheels look, provide a nice sporty and aggressive look to the car. They've been shot in Pirelli P0s that are summer tires. Your brake rotors up front are 13 inches in diameter, and in the rear, they're 12.5 inches in diameter. Now, an interesting feature about the Veloster N is the fact that it has 3 doors, meaning that the driver's side looks nothing like the passenger side of this vehicle. The driver's side door is a lot longer and your B-pillar is back here. But since there's a 3rd door on the other side, the B-pillar would be more up here. And then again, you have the 3rd door, which has a door handle that's been cleverly incorporated into the door, such not to ruin the overall design. Now, I think that's interesting, as most manufacturers, when they bring a car to a different market, they often have to flip the dash and put the steering wheel on the other side. So Hyundai not only has to do that for this car, they also have to bring the door to the other side as well. Now the overall wheelbase for this vehicle is 104.3 inches, just to give you an idea of sizing. Let's go ahead and check out the back. The rear of the Veloster N is really interesting design-wise. I love it. You have this huge double layer wing. So of course this wing is going to provide you additional downforce and stability at speeds with this top layer, but you also have this lower layer, which is flush with the car's overall roofline. Now incorporated into the wing's design is this F1 inspired brake lamp. That is one of the coolest features on this car by far. Now of course coming lower, you have LED brake lamps, and I love the overall styling of that as well. Hyundai really went out their way to make sure that the Veloster N was styled well. As a matter of fact, they didn't even bother ruining the back of the car with an ugly door handle. They hid the handle underneath the wiper blade. So simple, push to open that. You have 19 cubic feet of storage. Drop the second row seats, you have 44 cubic feet of storage right there for you. Coming lower, you have a huge diffuser with red accents and then dual exhaust tips. Let's go ahead and hear how this sounds. it comes to the interior of the Veloster N, the first thing you're going to notice is how firm and awesome the seats are. Look at the styling here. Hyundai completely killed the game when it came to these seats. I love how the aggressive side bolstering carries on throughout. It features black leather and blue stitching on the side bolstering. I really love the blue theme in this car. Now in the middle section of the seats, you have cloth. Why is that? Well, the cloth is to prevent you from slipping in the seat while driving aggressively. Remember, you can take this car on the track for a quick track day as well. So I really like how they did the cloth and the leather side bolstering. Now coming up higher, you have silver accents with an illuminated N badge, which looks awesome in low light conditions. Now to go with the overall blue theme, you also have blue seat belts as well. I love how the blue theme has just been carried out all throughout this vehicle. It seems to be everywhere except for the door panels, which just come off as just bland black plastic. I wish that blue was carried on onto the door panels as well. Now coming lower on the door panels, you have 3 buttons for your windows, which looks awkward at first, but remember, this car has 3 doors, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And coming lower, of course, it's just a little bit of storage. Now the dashboard is finished in this textured black plastic. Remember, the people who Hyundai is going after don't really care about materials as much as they do performance, so they don't care that this isn't finished in Alcantara or leather. Now coming lower, you have an 8-inch touchscreen display system, has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I have it in the N Performance display, which shows you your G-forces, longitudinal and lateral, your turbo boost, your oil temperature, just all the information that you could want. Coming lower, you have hard touch buttons in case you don't like depending on the touchscreen. And then coming lower, controls for your air conditioning system, a cigarette lighter, and then 2 USB ports as well, along with some additional storage. Now coming further back, you have your gear selector, finished in leather, and again with the blue accents and blue stitching. Really looks nice overall. And then coming further back, 2 cup holders and additional storage back here as well. Now the steering wheel feels nice in your hands. It's covered in black leather and features that contrast blue stitching we discussed earlier. Even the drive mode and performance buttons are finished in that blue. I really like how that blue looks against the black. Now behind the steering wheel, you have 2 shift paddles for driving in manual mode, which is extremely fun in this vehicle. Now the instrument cluster, nothing special to see there. Typical LED backlit. It gets the job done, especially for a car with this price point. Let's go ahead and check out the rear. The seats in the back are fairly comfortable. Again, this is a hatchback, right? So primarily you want to be sitting up front, but Hyundai claims 34.1 inches of legroom in the back here. You also have 2 cup holders here. There are no USB ports here, but again, ingress and egress is made super easy by having that 3rd door on one side. So instead of having to get in from the driver's side every time, you could just use the 3rd door and slide all the way in. Let's go ahead and take this car out for a spin and see if it's truly fun to drive. All right, so we're in the Hyundai Veloster, and as soon as you get in this car, you can tell that the suspension is geared for performance. It's not the smoothest ride. We're in a fairly smooth repaved road, and I can feel bumps that I didn't know were there, right? So body roll is not really going to be an issue when it comes to the handling of this vehicle. So Isha, I was telling you, this goes into the hot hatch segment. This is kind of like a performance vehicle that still offers some practicality, but you know, you can still drive this every day. That's the demographic they're going after. Somebody who wants something that's fun to drive but doesn't break the bank here.
Okay.
So I'm sure you noticed that you can hear a lot of outside in here, right?
Yeah, road noise, bumps. It feels like a typical sports car.
yeah. But it definitely is fun to drive. So I have it in the N Performance mode, and I'm driving it in manual mode. I'll drop it down to 2nd gear. Let me drop it down to 1st. Hold on to your butts. So it definitely moves. It's definitely a fun car to drive. Wow. Doesn't sound bad either. I really like how they have the shift lights behind the steering wheel. Usually you only see that in like really high performance vehicles like a Ferrari or something, but I think that's nice. They let the average person have that too.
You're having a lot of fun.
I am having a ton of fun in this car. It just sounds so good. Listen to this downshift. You hear that?
Yeah, I'm really shocked that you are this excited. Or maybe I shouldn't be shocked.
There's even a launch control in here. I'm not going to do that. I'll spare you that.
Thank you.
But the launch control offers you more power off the line than you would typically get than just flooring it. But wow. So this is a really zippy car. It's zippy. It's not the fastest car available, obviously, but 0 to 60 in the sub 5s for $35,000, and just based off how much fun I'm having, I would say that there have been rave reviews on this vehicle, and I was quite skeptical when they dropped it off, but I'm thinking that this definitely gets the praise that it deserves.
I'm shocked that it's performing like this. You wouldn't expect this from, this vehicle.
Right, because, you probably saw it and it was like, oh, some little sports car, right?
That's exactly what I thought.
But it definitely delivers on performance. It really does. And like body roll, like the other day when you saw that Jaguar take the turn, it was a 90s Jaguar. Tell them.
It was a 90s Jaguar, and it was like, literally, if you guys remember that song, Tipping on Fofo. It was tipping. It really was.
As it was making a turn.
Yeah.
So
I was just like, that's not safe.
You were like, is that normal? I said, for cars back then, maybe. That's what you call body roll.
You need to insert one of those 1970s. You remember like when people would be racing each other or like running from the cops, and the car would like, that's how it looked.
That's what it looked. You're not going to find that in here. This car is stiff. That's why the suspension is like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you better handling, and just overall going to give you more confidence in the car. Now, I did drive this in normal mode before, and I will say that the suspension still felt stiff in this car. So as far as I'm concerned, the settings for suspension in this car are hard and then harder, because that's what it feels like. I feel like if there was Braille on the street, this car would be able to read it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the seats?
I think they're nice, but it's definitely, I love what they did here with the blue strip and this nice. Here.
I like that.
This is like a typical racing seat.
Yep.
It reminds me of an AMG.
Exactly.
Mercedes. It's stiff too, just like the
very
ride.
Stiff. They're very stiff.
But it's not uncomfortable.
Right.
I
wouldn't want to take a long road trip in here. The seats are firm.
Yeah.
But they are really aggressive, and they do hug you quite a bit.
Yeah, they do. Side bolstering, but it's not a hug where you feel like you're sitting in a small seat.
Right.
It's
nice.
This is typical, your interior.
Yeah, it's plastic. It's a lot of plastic, but this is for somebody who's looking for performance, right?
Yeah. So, I think it goes great with
they don't care about
this.
that. Yeah.
But what I do want to say is that this blue stitching, so if it was red, that is kind of carried throughout the interior, which I think they did a great job. It's found here, it's found also on your gear shifter there, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice how they incorporated it. Now, you were blown away when I said there was a third door. You were like, hold up, let me go around and see the third door.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. And so I had to go check that out, and I was just like, well, why would they do that?
To make it easier for ingress and egress into the back seats. The back seats are okay. I sat back there. It's a hatch, right? Nobody's really buying this car to sit in the back, honestly.
Yeah, as far as I know, my cousin loves hatches. I know a few other people that love cars like this, and they would love this.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would like this car as much as I do, but I'm having a ton of fun driving it for sure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound bad either. That exhaust is like snap, crackle, pop. But the ride is firm. You wouldn't want to be on a rough road with this car, because we are on a smooth road and like you're bouncing up and down, right? The steering is pretty direct. The turn in is pretty good. The steering responses do change depending on what driving mode you're in. It is a notable difference. So it's not just like, oh, they put comfort and sport mode there just to be there and say they had multiple driving modes. You can actually feel the difference in the steering depending on which driving mode you're in. So that is definitely interesting. But overall, this is just a really practical, fun car that you could easily take on the track. Tons of headroom. So if height is a concern for you, you will fit in here. If you're the average height, you will fit with the helmet on when you want to take this to the track. So that is a major factor there. Any closing thoughts, Isha? What do you think about the exterior?
I think it's pretty cool.
It is a cool car.
I wasn't expecting all of this. The exterior looks great. I immediately said, oh, this is some sort of fun sports car, but I wasn't expecting this out of this make and model.
All right, we're flooring it right out the gate. Hold on to your butts.
All right, y'all, pray for me.
Ready? Wow.
That was a rough start, man.
Yeah, you got some wheels. You got some wheel spin. This is a front wheel drive vehicle. We got a little hint of wheel spin there, but as you can see, it gets up and goes.
Yeah.
It gets up and goes.
I'm guessing you're gonna do it again.
Not from standstill, but.
Okay.
Jeez, I just love how direct the steering is in this car. They've done an excellent job with the handling, and it looks great too. Really love those 19-inch wheels they put on here as well. Wow. You hear that? You hear the exhaust?
I do. Like I said, I'm very shocked. I said, I can't believe that it's performing like this in this vehicle.
Yep.
You know, we find this in like some serious high-end sports cars.
Right. This is, hey, average people, you know, people who don't want to spend a ton of money, we like to have fun too. So you get offerings like this. Now, I will say, if you own this, if I own this, I would want to have another car as well. Something that's not as harsh. You know, this isn't like a family car, right?
Right.
And, you know, driving around in this for an entire day, it'll beat you up. you will be tired, right? You just felt that bump that you couldn't even see, right? So
this road is brand newly paved.
Yeah, we're on a newly paved road, freshly paved. They just paved it like 3 weeks ago, and we're feeling stuff that we never knew was there. We drive this road every day, but you truly feel it in this. So that about wraps it up for the driving portion of this review. Isha, thank you for joining me. I know this isn't your type of vehicle. That's
you guys were lucky you saw me in this video, because I was like, I'm gonna sit this one out.
So thank you for joining me in this one, and we'll wrap up the rest of the video.
All right.
That was a brief overview of this 2021 Hyundai Veloster. What an awesome entry into the hot hatch segment. This car definitely delivers on performance, and when it comes to the interior, those seats are my favorite aspect of that interior. It's beautiful. Let me know what you guys think about this vehicle. It definitely delivers on performance for sure. Would you buy this car? Let me know in the comments section. Please remember to like, that definitely helps, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time, I'm Ben Wayne, the automotive reviewer that YouTube deserves.